guys. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, and we are talking about the 12 days of treatments the diet industry gave to us and all of the different things that we try to fix our relationship with food and the good and the bad and the works and the doesn't work. And we are going to be talking about weight loss surgery. And just an honest review of that. And we have our amazing Joanne, one of our grads here today, to chat about her experience. So what happens with weight loss surgery is that you are physically altering your body in some way. So there's like gastric bypass, there's the gastric sleeve. It's essentially getting a surgery that takes out parts of your internal body or makes them smaller in some way, like makes your stomach or your intestines smaller in some way. So you're not able to eat as much food. So it's a physical restriction from being able to eat. And it oftentimes results in very rapid weight loss. There can be a lot of health issues that go along with it. Of course, with any sort of surgery, there's a big risk, but then also this is dealing with nutrition and that sort of thing. And so we just want to do an honest, real review of experiences around that. So let's look at a couple things here. Joanne, just first of all, tell us a little bit about the pros and the cons of your experience with gastric bypass.
The pros are, I definitely had more energy to do a lot more things, because when I was really overweight, I couldn't do a lot of things. So I got into exercise more. I was attracted to more people, being a single woman. It was like, oh, so men were now looking at me in a positive way rather than a negative way. I didn't feel ashamed like when I would go to my kids' classes, because sometimes they would tell me, oh, your mom's fat, and I could hear that. Well, I didn't get that anymore. So that would be the pros of it. The cons are well, physically, this is weird, but I had constipation for 6 months, and doctors couldn't help me. It was so painful. It was really painful. And I developed, I'm bulimic now. Anything I ate, I mean, it could be a cup of soup and I couldn't hold anything down. I'm getting much better with that, but I couldn't eat anything. Nothing would stay down. And I felt like I didn't get enough support from the doctors or the nutritionists. They'll say, oh, here's a plan for you. Just follow the plan. And it's like, I need it more. And I became deficient in vitamins, and my electrolytes went down. And so I was causing more damage to myself, actually, where I was at more risk because of the surgery. I mean, yeah, I had lost the weight, but I paid the price for that.
And thank you so much for sharing that, Joanne. And, there's lots of different reasons that people do weight loss surgery, gastric bypass, whatever else. And so it's really important to, have really just honor everyone in their own journey, right? So with gastric bypass, a lot of times people feel like it's the only way to save their life, right? Because behaviorally, if you could just be handed a plan and then stick to that plan, well, then maybe you would have, lost the weight on your own or whatever. But it's a lot of times people turn to that because it's the thing that might need to save their life. Now, with that, like Joanne was saying, there's a lot of side effects, right? A lot of health side effects. I mean, bulimia is extremely dangerous. And like you said, Joanne, the bulimia came from the very thing that you tried to do to help your relationship with food. And we have people who have paid, $50,000 out of pocket for gastric bypass, and then, $30,000 on top of that for follow-up surgeries because they're still binging even after their gastric bypass because it didn't change their relationship with food. And, they're tearing their sutures and, with all of the vitamin deficiencies, and it's a permanent change and alteration to your body. So there's a lot that comes with it. And it's a lot to go through. So thank you so much for sharing that. Joanne, what changed, or did anything change with your relationship with food, or yeah, with your relationship with food from the surgery?
Nothing really, which is really, you know, that's why I did it, because I thought I would be healthier and all these things I thought um, would change, and none of that's changed other than um, I have a lot of loose skin now, that's for sure. So that's not real attractive. The other thing, yeah, I don't think, like, to get this surgery, I had to talk to a psychiatrist, right? I talked to a psychiatrist over the phone for a half hour, and they said, "Oh, you're good to go." You know, I I wasn't good to go. I didn't think it through enough, and so I went to a cookie cutter doctor who no longer is around, and yeah, so it and do you want me to talk about the judgment from people or
Yeah,
hold
let's get into that. But I wanted to like make a couple of notes here that is just so important. Like Joanne, you're sharing really important things about one, the medical system. Okay, so one pro of the surgery is a lot of times it's covered by insurance, right? It's like that is something that can happen. A lot of times the complications and all of those things aren't. But the con of that is that people are more likely to do something so extreme and permanent with a lot of consequences that people don't realize because it is covered by insurance or the medical industry. The medical industry makes a lot of money off of people getting weight loss surgery. And like you were saying, Joanne, it's like 30 minutes over the phone with a psychiatrist or psychologist saying like, okay, yeah, you're good to go. It's just like, whew, like this is a permanent life altering high risk thing to do. And so it really has turned into an industry where it's like people are being encouraged and sort of pushed to do something that, like you said, has created bulimia, created like, and bulimia is and can be lethal. And so for a lot of people not realizing what can happen from that is a big thing. And then the other thing that you're talking about is societally, right? It's like you lost weight and you were treated better in a lot of ways, Joanne. Like,
on.
and so that really speaks to something that's wrong with our society of like that even doing something extreme that can have health risks, even kill you, like people start treating you better just because you're a different size. And that's not okay, right? It's like, it's not okay that we live in a society where um, changing our appearance and that's it is something, or just with our very fat phobic society where people are treated so badly just because of their size. And so thank you for bringing those things up. And yeah, Joanne, share a little bit about like, because I know that there can be a lot of judgment. I mean, all across the board, women's bodies are judged. Women's bodies are seen as something that people can comment on or make conclusions about women because of it. And so I would love to hear just what was your experience of um, just sort of the judgment and the experience through your surgery and how people saw that you made that choice?
Um, well, I was judged like I was in an eating disorder program, and the women there who had eating disorders, just like myself, they thought I took the easy way out, that I was a fake, I didn't deserve to be in that program. But I mean, I tried to tell them, I tried everything, everything I, you know, as we talked in our tutorials. It's like, and yeah, I felt like there's heart failures in my family, my mom and my dad. And I thought, oh God, if I keep this weight and I can't lose it, I'm going to have a heart attack at the age of, 40. And so, but yeah, I was surprised about the judgment, especially from these women who are in an eating disorder group. It's like, you know, and the surgery didn't change anything for me other than people, yeah, um, saying, "Oh, you look good. Oh, you're so thin. How'd you get so thin?" Not like I'm the same person I was when I was, really heavy. So,
Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing that. And like, one thing that I just want to really emphasize, if people, take anything away from this, is like, don't comment on other people's choices and other people's bodies. Like if somebody wants to make a choice for their own body, then they get to make that choice, right? It's like for anyone to call it the easy way out or you shouldn't have done it. It is your body. You get to choose. You should have good information about it. You should be able to make educated choices, but people make their own choices. Um, and that's one huge issue is there's just a lot of judgment from especially women to other women about like what is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Um, and like you said, like you're the same person. It's just like people start, giving you compliments or judging you for the choices that you've made about your body. And um, one thing to just note here is like a lot of times people have the idea that if I was thinner, I would have a different relationship with food. Like
Hmm.
I wouldn't eat this way, or I would heal my relationship with food if I'm thinner. It is just not true. You can do a surgery, you can do pills, you can do whatever it is, but you will, unless you fix your relationship with food, then anything that you try to do physically or change your circumstances is not going to change your relationship. So, and Joanne, I'm wondering for you, like, did you feel like it might change your relationship with food when you did that, and then you were surprised that it didn't, or did you have that expectation? I'm just wondering for your journey, what your experience
Yes,
was about that.
I thought it would change my relationship with food. That it's like, gosh, I went through all of this, and that yeah, I thought, okay, I'm going to eat healthy, um, take care of myself, and that was not the case at all.
Yeah.
So,
And the only way to have a permanent change is to actually do it from the inside out, you guys. Like, and I'm talking about between your ears, like your brain and your patterns and your habits, right? Like, that is the only true and sustainable way to do this. So I just want to dispel the myth that, like, oh, if I got a surgery, then I would stay thin or I would stay in a place where I would, change the way that I look at food, or I would change the way that I eat. No, everything stays the same. That's why people a lot of times will gain their weight back plus some, even after something as extreme as surgery. And it's really hard on your body to be doing that after that surgery. So just, to have real expectations of you can alter your body however you choose, but your relationship with food has to be something that actually changes in your mind and in your brain. So, Joanne, thank you so much for sharing. Anything else that you want to share about your experience with your weight loss surgery and your journey there?
no,
All right. Thank you for sharing. And what a wonderful thing to be able to give people a true like story and your experience and your reality in that. And yeah, so amazing to see you guys here. Excited for you to tune in for our next episode and we will go from there. Bye, guys.
bye.